Hello and welcome or welcome back. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Justyna, and if you're a returning viewer or listener, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here today I'm going to talk about Mars retrograde. Mars retrograde starts on the 6th of December at 6 degrees of Leo. It ends on February the 23rd, the 6th, 7th of January. Mars will retrograde into Cancer. So December is about Mars in retrograde in Leo, and this video is about Mars retrograde in Leo. So we'll discuss the influence of Mars retrograde in Leo for each sign. All right. So first of all, what is Mars retrograde? Mars retrograde occurs about once every 2 years and lasts for about 2 to 2.5 months. So here, this is a time when generally a planet of action, the planet of action, ambition, drive, passion, and conflict appears to be moving backward as seen from the position on Earth. Now, during this time, Mars's fiery, assertive energy turns inwards, often leading to delays and frustration, but also a need to reevaluate our motivations, our goals, our actions as well. Now, historically, William Lilly, the renowned 17th century astrologer, described Mars retrograde as a time of discord and strife, especially in areas Mars rules, like action, ambition, passion, conflict. It's not a time to push forward aggressively, but rather to pause, to reflect, and also to recalibrate. So here, as mentioned at the beginning of this video, Mars starts his retrograde phase in the bold and passionate sign of Leo. And Leo is all about leadership, self-expression, confidence. So here during the retrograde phase of Mars in Leo, we might notice challenges in areas connected to authority, creativity, and ego. Here, from a mundane perspective, this retrograde throughout December could manifest as leaders around the world, figures of power, facing heightened criticism or perhaps some challenges to their authority. Now, creative or theatrical projects, venues might experience setbacks, delays, and maybe even disputes could arise from wounded pride or perhaps stubbornness. Now, William Lilly would likely advise tempering these tendencies with humility and patience. Now, here on a personal level, Mars retrograde in Leo asks us to reflect on how we express ourselves, how we pursue our goals, how we lead. Are we too focused on external validation? Are our actions driven by pride or genuine passion? So here are a couple of questions to ask ourselves, yourself. Now, on January the 6th, the 7th, Mars will retrograde into Cancer, a cardinal water sign ruled by the moon. Cancer is associated with our home, our emotions, security, emotional security, stability. But Mars struggles here. In Cancer, Mars is in its fall, meaning it's fiery, assertive energy clashes with that Cancerian energy connected to nurturing and protective vibe. So here during the time when Mars is retrograding, Cancer, emotional conflicts might rise to the surface, especially within a family and domestic environments, dynamics. And generally, we might feel more defensive or reactive and passive aggressive even. So this sort of behavioral patterns might be more prominent around this time. And generally matters connected to home, to land, personal safety may also require reassessment or repair. So here, generally, the transition from Leo to Cancer at the very beginning of January also marks a really significant shift from the external, ego-driven energy of Leo to the internal, emotional, focused energy of Cancer. So generally, this is a time to move from outward battles to inner healing, but that's in January. In December, we are dealing with the energy of Leo. So how to navigate the the retrograde here, Mars retrograde. So generally retrogrades are really powerful opportunities to review, revise, reassess, repair. Well, Mars retrograde isn't the best time to start new ventures or perhaps initiate conflicts. It's a really great time for resolving old disputes, for refining plans, or perhaps for revisiting unfinished businesses. So here's some helpful tips for how to navigate these energies is generally to think about how we express anger, ambition. Are we being reactive or are we channeling our energy constructively? This is a great time for revisiting unresolved conflicts, for using this time to heal emotional wounds or repair our relationships, especially the ones we really care about. Now, this is a time to slow down, don't rush. If you feel frustrated or perhaps blocked, remember that this is a period for patience, for introspection. This is a time for strategic planning rather than impulsive action. Here, conflicts, wars initiated during Mars retrograde often lead to unintended consequences. So here it's essential to be mindful in how we interact with others during this time. Overall, Mars retrograde in Leo and Cancer offers this really unique opportunity to align our actions with patience. It's a time to move beyond our ego-driven pursuits, projects, ideas, and focus on emotional growth, self-awareness. And by using this generally this retrograde wisely, we can emerge much stronger, much more focused, and much more ready to take decisive action once Mars moves direct on February 23 of 2025. Hello, Aries, and welcome to your horoscope. So here, Mars retrograde will occur in your fifth house. And during this time, you might experience possible creative blockages or delays, especially in their creative artistic projects. So instead of pushing forward, take it as an opportunity to redefine your goals and objectives. Now, there could be also possible conflicts, misunderstandings in the romantic area of your life, possibly due to ego clashes or differences in opinions or desires. So if you have children, you might also have to face moments of tension, or perhaps you might need to address past issues that perhaps have been overlooked, never discussed. Now, additionally, past hobbies, interests, passions may also resurface around this time, offering you a chance to rediscover what truly brings you joy, what truly brings you happiness. So take this time to generally reflect on what provides you with that authentic happiness, self-expression. Try to avoid forcing progress, especially in the creative, romantic areas of your life, and instead focus on revisiting past ideas, relationships, connections. This is a time to remain patient as you can, especially here in matters of the heart or when dealing with children. Thank you very much. Now, Taurus, this is happening in your area of home and family dynamics, the fourth house. Here, old conflicts within the family or home dynamics might resurface, and these will require a resolution. Now, any plans to move, renovate, reorganize your living space could face a certain degree of delays, or perhaps they might require a reevaluation. This is a time to confront some deeply buried emotions, family patterns, especially the ones that influence your current sense of security. Now, during this time, you might feel more emotionally reactive, more protective during this time. So here you need to be mindful of any overreacting tendencies or even something little that concerns your family, emotional well-being. This is a great time to reflect on your emotional needs, safety, security, stability of your home life. Now, this is also a good time for working on resolving long-standing family dynamics rather than starting new initiatives. So here, focus on nurturing yourself, on creating a sense of inner security during this time. It's a great time for returning to projects that perhaps were left unfinished in the past. Now, Geminis, for you, this is happening in your third house. So communication is highlighted, social interactions as well. So it's a time overall to pause and reflect on your mental focus, relationships with your siblings, with your relationships with your neighbors. Think about how effectively you communicate. Now, arguments or misunderstandings in conversations may arise during this time. Perhaps they might require patience. Perhaps they might require more clarity. Now, old ideas, projects, learning opportunities could also resurface around this time and generally offering you a chance to redefine them, give them another chance overall. So here, be prepared also for any delays or issues when it comes to short distance travel, transportation. Double check your messages, emails to avoid any unnecessary conflict. It's a great time for revisiting skills, knowledge, courses you've previously explored because they might be really useful around this time. All right, so Cancers, for you, this is happening in your area of finances, resources, personal values, the second house. And during this time, you might experience delays or disruptions in your when it comes to your income, finances, financial transactions, budgeting, or spending habits even. It's generally a period that really encourages you to rethink how you manage your finances and whether your financial management aligns with your personal values. So here you might face some challenges, setbacks, delays, self-doubt even regarding your abilities and worth. But generally, this can also prompt you to redefine what value means to you. So here, while you might have to deal with some setbacks in your efforts to achieve financial stability and security, this is also here an opportunity to reassess and strengthen your this financial foundation in your life. So try to avoid making any major financial commitments or investments while Mars is retrograde in this area of your life. This is a good time for generally reevaluating, for reflecting on what truly matters to you. And overall, this retrograde is fantastic for reevaluating your financial spendings, habits, strategies for long-term security. Old clients might also return back into your life, or perhaps some old financial opportunities might resurface as well. You might be also dealing with refunds. Money that you have been expecting for quite some time might finally arrive as well. Leos, welcome. So here Mars retrograde is going to activate your first house, of course, in December, and you might experience a slowdown during this time, especially when it comes to your drive, your personal energy. And this can make you feel less confident, less driven for a short period of time. And it's a time to generally revisit, redefine your goals, the way you present yourself to the outside world, to others. You might have to face some delays, especially delays when it comes to achieving personal goals, objectives. You might also deal with misunderstandings or conflicts in your relationships, but this can also prompt you to reassess your approach to certain connections in your life. This is generally a time when you have to manage your energy levels efficiently because you might easily overextend yourself, and this can drain you physically. So use this time to reevaluate your personal projects, long-term goals. This is a time when you might have to be more patient than usual, probably with yourself, with others, because otherwise misunderstandings may arise. So here, self-care and engaging in activities that bring you comfort can be very beneficial for you to balance these energies of Mars retrograde. Now, thank you. Virgos, welcome. Mars retrograde activates your 12th house. So there's a shift of energy that is connected to dealing with some unresolved emotions, past issues that may come to the surface. You might find that past fears, regrets, or perhaps some hidden frustrations might resurface during this time. But here you have an opportunity for releasing them, for healing them. Now, you might also experience some internal struggles or perhaps feelings of isolation may arise around this time, feelings that you can only rely on yourself, which might not be true, but it might feel this way during Mars retrograde. This sort of energy can also prompt you to discover yourself on a deeper level. You might go through this major journey of self-discovery. through astrology, through psychology, for example. It's a really amazing time to identify and address unproductive behavioral patterns or some hidden fears that have been holding you back. Now, activities like journaling, meditation, or perhaps yoga can be really, really beneficial during this retrograde. So you might want to consider doing them if you're not already. It's a time also a good time for letting go of any self-sabotaging behaviors and work towards emotional balance, inner peace. So take some time for rest, and this can help you to gain clarity, emerge much stronger, more empowered by the end of this retrograde. Thank you very much. Now, Libras, retrograde is happening in your 11th house. So friendships, groups, long-term goals and plans are here highlighted. And generally here, Mars retrograde in Leo can bring potential conflict, misunderstandings among your friends within group settings. Perhaps some old issues might resurface. Perhaps you might be questioning certain connections in your life during this time. Now, here, any group projects could also face delays, so perhaps they might require reevaluation. This is overall a time to redefine your vision for the future rather than push ahead. You are reviewing, reassessing. Now, power struggles or ego clashes within teams, groups might also be here the case. So I think patience will be required, especially when it comes to group settings, any teamwork. During this time, you might also reconnect with friends, acquaintances, groups from the past, generally people that you haven't seen for quite some time. Great time also for resolving any issues, misunderstandings with friends from the past, especially if you truly care about this connection. Now, here with Mars retrograde in your 11th house, you might be reflecting on your social circles, on your friendships. You will generally ask yourself whether these connections, these groups, these friendships are beneficial for you, whether you are moving in a similar direction, whether you still share similar values, or perhaps whether you have moved into two different directions. So perhaps you might be drifting away from some connections as the time moves on. And at the same time, you'll be making space for new people to come into your life, people that align with your vision for the future, people that align with your beliefs, for example. Scorpios, this is happening in your 10th house. So career, professional life, outside world, your direction this is all highlighted. So you might face potential delays or misunderstandings during this time, obstacles even in your professional life. You might feel also uncertain about the direction that you're heading. Here, potential misunderstandings or conflicts with bosses, colleagues, or authority figures may also arise, but this is often caused due to some unresolved past issues. Something that wasn't resolved in the past might resurface, and this would or may lead to a potential conflict. Generally, here, Mars retrograde in Leo in your 10th house, it's a really amazing opportunity to reflect on your career goals, on your career objectives, and how they align with your long-term goals, long-term vision. Now, during this time, you might also feel misunderstood in the public eye, and this can prompt you to redefine how you present yourself professionally. It's generally a fantastic time to focus on introspection and strategy rather than initiate new career moves. So use this time to generally reevaluate your career opportunities, redefine your professional approach, redefine the direction that you're heading in your life as well. So that's the influence of Mars in Leo in December. In January, Mars will be in Cancer, so very different energy. So thank you. Now let's have a look at Sagittarius. Sagittarius, for you, this is happening in your 9th house for travel, education, your beliefs. So during this time, you might face delays. When it comes to travel, you might have a need to reassess your long-term goals, your life principles, and generally any plans connected to higher education, travel, publishing might face a certain degree of delays, obstacles, but this can also prompt you to reconsider or perhaps even redefine them or refine them. Now, during this time, you might also find yourself questioning your beliefs, your life principles, your spiritual path, or perhaps your worldviews. And this can also facilitate the inner growth as you embark on this journey of self-discoveries in some way. So when it comes to journeys and travel, especially long distance travel, it's really important that you prepare carefully, thoroughly to avoid any delays, any disruptions as well during this time. And generally, this is also a really amazing time to revisit past learning, educational work, training to strengthen your understanding, your skills. Take some time also to reflect on your values and how they align with your current path, because you might be questioning your path if you feel like you're not in alignment with your goals. You might be also redefining or reevaluating the direction that you're heading. So it's all about being flexible, adaptable when it comes to any travel arrangements, plans. But at the same time, here, this retrograde might also prompt you to redefine, reevaluate your beliefs, your mindset, your perception of reality, worldviews as well. Thank you very much. Now, Capricorns. So, Capricorns, welcome. Got this retrograde, Mars retrograde in December in Leo, taking place in your eighth house of transformation, regeneration, intimate matters, but also anything to do with shared and joint resources, partnerships. So, here you may need to, during this time, you might need to reassess issues related to shared finances, resources, commitments, debts, taxes, inheritance as well. Now, here with Mars retrograde in Leo, you might also experience delays, or perhaps you might have a need to renegotiate these areas, these matters. Now, old fears, unresolved traumas, or some hidden emotions could also emerge throughout the month of December, prompting you to confront and heal past wounds. Now, tensions or perhaps misunderstandings may also arise around this time, especially in partnerships, intimate relationships. These will require patience, open communication in order to be resolved. So, overall, this is a good time to dive deep into some complex matters, complex issues, both financial and emotional, in order to uncover hidden truths, things that you don't fully understand. So here, I'll try to avoid making any major financial commitments around this time, or perhaps decisions, any major decisions without a thorough review. So here, Mars retrograde is great for reflecting on how you manage shared resources and emotional vulnerability, for example. Great time for inner work, personal transformation as well. So you're working on energies that are already in play instead of initiating something brand new. Aquarius, welcome. Mars retrograde in Leo activates your area of relationships, contracts. So here, conflicts or unresolved issues with partners, business partners, whether romantic, business, or otherwise, may resurface around this time. They will need, generally, this is all about open communication and honest dialogue resolution. Now, during this time, you might find yourself questioning your current partnerships, current connections, relationships. You'll be assessing also whether they align with your needs and values or whether something needs to change. So, agreements or contracts might also experience delays, or perhaps they might require attention, renegotiation, for example. Now, old partners or perhaps past relationship patterns might also come back into focus. And this is an opportunity for closure or perhaps for reevaluation as well. So anything unresolved from the past might come back into your life. Now, whenever possible, try to approach conflicts in relationships with diplomacy and patience. It's a great time to generally reflect on the balance of power, equality, within your commitments, within your relationships and partnerships, and try to generally avoid rushing into new commitments, ideally until Mars stations direct, or at least until it moves into Cancer, as it will influence very different area of life. It will shift away from your area of relationship. So thank you very much. Now, Pisces, welcome. We've got this retrograde activating your area of everyday life, everyday routine, your lifestyle. You might have this really strong need during this time to reassess how you manage your daily life, your daily routine. Now, miscommunications or conflicts with coworkers could arise during this time. And generally, if you don't manage your energy effectively, your time effectively during this time, then you might feel really tired, burnt out. So it's really essential that you adopt better self-care habits during this time. It's a really good time for generally reevaluating any inefficient routines or tasks that generally drain your energy on daily, regular basis. So focus on mindfulness, on well-being, especially when it comes to preventing burnout. Now, here, this could be also a great time for reorganizing your work habits in order to create a more productive, a more balanced approach here. So here, a great time also for addressing any health concerns, anything that requires patience, attention. This would be also a good time for maybe having health checkups if this is something that you've been wanting to do, you've been delaying. So thank you very much.